Hey everybody, welcome to Movie Mavens, home of the Spicy Double Feature. I'm Carsen Green.
And I'm Annie Janes. This week's Spicy Dub is May December and Eileen. What makes this double feature spicy, Carsen?
Well, I think the spiciestness of it all is child sex crimes. But we chose this before we watched both of the movies, knowing that that was a theme in both. And we chose it based on...
Wait, I didn't actually catch that. Oh, like it. I mean, it was there, obviously. It's a huge part of both movies, but I actually didn't think about that. I was actually just thinking about like what illegal things women will do for love.
Ooh, that's good too, actually.
Yeah.
I was also thinking too, these movies both feature two women in like having like a working relationship with each other.
True. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I think if you added these movies up together, you would have one full movie.
Wow, the shade.
Yeah. We'll get into it.
Annie, let's talk about May December first.
Do you remember when you first met?
He came to the pet store looking for a job.
It was summer after 6th grade?
Seventh. Why do you want to play me?
When they sent me the script, I thought, here is a woman with a lot more to her than I remember from the tabloids.
What would make a 36-year-old woman have an affair with a 7th grader?
People, they like see me as a victim. I wanted it.
Would you please hit me with some facts?
May December came out on December 1st, 2023, which is the same day as Eileen, I believe. So that's another connection. This hit Netflix, and it's been like in the top charts on there for a while. It has a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was directed by Todd Haynes. It was written by Sammy Birch and Alex Metchnich, starring Natalie Portman, Julianne Moore, and Charles Melton. Here's the description from IMDb. 20 years after their notorious tabloid romance gripped the nation, a married couple buckles under pressure when an actress arrives to do research for a film about their past. Okay, Carsen, what did you think?
I think straight away I want to mention just how much I really like how this story is told. I really, really, really enjoy that we're seeing it framed in this way. And it's not just like a retelling or like a portrayal of like the affair itself. I really like the way that we're looking at this story because it is based on a true story. I mean, it like loosely based on the Mary Kay Landreneau case from the 90s. And so I like that we're looking at it almost like through, I don't know. It's like, I feel removed from the scandal itself. And I think I appreciate that because it gives us an opportunity to just, look at it a little differently. And so I appreciate like the perspective of seeing it through Natalie Portman's eyes, who is playing an actress who is going to play the main character. And so we're watching it as like a character study. That's cool. That's like, I think that's like genuinely really clever and new and nuanced storytelling. What did you think?
I agree with that. Like the setup of like, this isn't a journalist interviewing someone. This isn't a friend trying to get to know a friend. This is like an actress who's going to portray the other person in the relationship. So you get to connect with someone who did something wild and illegal, but is still in that relationship. Like, she's still married to the guy who was a boy. They're still together. So I feel like the premise was setting me up to watch them really dig into the pedophile's psyche, so to speak. And I love the framing device, but because the movie that she was going to play the woman in was like a Lifetime movie, which is a funny reveal. The whole time I was like, I really still don't feel like I get it. And then for her to be in a Lifetime movie, I'm like, oh, that's because she's a bad actress, probably. So then I was like, well, what was the point? So I felt like it felt a little flat for that reason. But it was so creative and was so fascinating to watch.
I think I really appreciated that we were removed from the pedophilia of it all. And we, like, I think the film does a really interesting job of humanizing this person and not in a way that's like asking for sympathy, which I think like when you are, I think that some films suffer from that, where they're like trying to humanize a villain and they're asking the audience to sympathize with that character. And I feel like this movie does not ask us to do that. It's more so like this person is deeply flawed, and they're also incredibly fucked up, and they're, as a result, like their life is fucked up, and it like will continue to be, because like obviously like we get the whole like the guy who was her victim, who is now her adult husband, is, which by the way, that actor, I don't know how he did it, but he's like a 36-year-old man, and he literally is so childlike.
I think that the movie does a good job of making us sympathize with him.
Yes.
And be like, oh, like this person is like frozen at a mental age and didn't live a real life.
Right.
I just think it was like a shallow exploration of those things. I wanted to go deeper.
Yeah. I think I appreciated that it was a more or less shallow exploration. I think it works with the reveal of it being a Lifetime movie. I think it works like that Natalie Portman is more or less like she's just kind of observing. And like you said, you know, from the jump, like she's not an investigative journalist. She's not trying to figure out like exactly what happened. She's just observing this woman and kind of trying to pick up her mannerisms and, you know, just witness what I think their relationship looks like so that she can then emulate it on screen. Which I thought, I just think it's really clever. I don't know. I'm kind of enamored with it.
A few things I liked about it. I liked the zooms that it would do. Like the camera work was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like the treatment on the film or digital, whatever they shot.
Yeah.
I liked that music track.
Me too.
And I liked the opening where Julianne Moore is like, there's not enough hot dogs, and slams the fridge. The thing is, from that opening sequence, I was like so in. But then it felt like the movie like puttered into a frequency and then stayed there. Natalie Portman her character sleeping with the husband, Charles Melton's character.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. That's huge. But it felt like it felt like as big as all the other moments or as small as all the other moments.
I see. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think I think that worked for me. Just because we were like, it was from Natalie Portman's perspective. Like, we're watching this movie, like she's our character, and for her, it wasn't a big deal. And she even kind of says, like, yeah, this is just what adults do, which I thought was really interesting. Like, she was like showing him, in a way, a world that he has never seen before. He's only ever known his relationship with this woman who is also kind of emotionally stunted at a certain age. And yeah, but I see what you're saying though about like the pacing and the frequency of it all. Yeah.
I did think though that she also had sex with him because she wanted to, like, I don't know, like get in the mind of this woman as far as she could, including having sex with her husband.
I think I think her motivation was that she felt really bad for him and she wanted to help free him.
I got a little bit of that too. It felt like she realized how bad his situation was at one point, and then was like, maybe this will help him realize. And it kind of did, because then after that sparked the conversation he had with his wife, Julianne Moore's character. But even in that conversation, it got cut off so soon, and I was like, damn, that could have been a longer conversation. I could have sat with that conversation longer, because it's huge.
Yeah,
but they didn't play it like it was huge, right? I guess that's what the feeling I'm getting. But a lot of people are really loving this movie. I mean, 92 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. I, for one, am in that camp. I think, too, like, just the depth of it, I think, is a direct reflection of the depth of these two characters. Like, they are incredibly emotionally immature, and, like, they are very childlike. And I think that, like, that's about as much nuance as we can kind of get, which I liked that. It worked for me.
Yeah, that's good.
But I hear you though. I think I think it could have benefited from diving a little deeper, but then that's not really the movie. Like, it was a character study from a C-list actor's perspective.
I guess I think, like, they could have gone deep. They just could have done what they did, but turn it up like 2 clicks on the volume. Like,
yeah,
they're only hinting at I'm getting tired of her presence, but there's no actual, like, conflict around that, like, in any big way, in any major way.
Yeah.
And I thought the movie was going to have that at points, because sometimes it goes there, like with Natalie Portman, like recreating having sex in the pet shop storage room. I was like, it's going to go there. And that was honestly like the craziest thing the movie showed, which was early. You know how in Saltburn we listed like 3 crazy moments that stuck out to us?
Yeah.
For me, when this one hit, I was like, okay, this is going to be this kind of movie. We're going to get some, like, it's going to push it. It's going to be cool. And then it never did that again to me.
Yeah, totally valid. A lot of it worked for me too, just because Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman are just so fantastic. It was really fun to watch them be on screen together. That scene where she's showing her how she does her makeup. I liked watching them together.
Did you like the scene where Natalie Portman is like doing a tape or something, a really long monologue in character, and then we realized that was the note?
Yes.
What did you make of that while you were watching? Like, what did you think of the letter?
I forget the exact like phrasing what she said. But I was wondering if that is like an actual letter from Mary Kay. Because there's a couple of moments that are like verbatim from like press interviews that they did. Rest in peace, Mary Kay. She's dead now.
Did she have a lisp?
But like, yes.
Okay, so that's why they're doing that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know any of the iconic lines?
Yes, there's one huge one that actually the clip has been kind of circulating around the internet over the past few weeks, and it's when she turns to him and he's saying, like, he's kind of revealing for what might even be the very first time in like 20 years, he's revealing, like, I don't think that I was old enough to be doing what we were doing. And she says to him, who was the boss? And she's like trying to get him to say that like he was the one who was in charge, when like very obviously from a moral and legal standpoint, like she was the one who was in control of the situation.
Wow.
That happened literally in an interview, and she turned to him and she said, who was the boss? And he won't answer. And then she says it again, who was the boss? Who was in charge? And like, it's beyond fucked up. And like, it's like, even in the interview itself, like you can see all over this guy's face, like he's a prisoner of this situation that he's found himself in for the past 20 years. It's so fucked up. But there's a couple of lines like that with their interactions. But even then, like that whole scene too, like he's just so childlike. His performance is not to be undercut here. It's so good. He like stacked up against Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman in a way that I didn't expect to see.
He really did. That's such a good point. We haven't mentioned this either, but the movie was funny. Like, didn't you think so?
Yeah, I think in a way that was like we were laughing at her.
Yeah. Anything else that you really liked about it, or you want to give it a score?
I'm ready to score it.
All right, hit me.
Okay, this is an 8 out of 10. I think I'll watch this again for sure, and I'll send you that clip of that interview. It's crazy.
Okay, I'd love to see it. I'm gonna give this a 6 out of 10. So Movie Maven score is a 7 out of 10, and you can watch this on Netflix. But let's move on and talk about Eileen.
Oopsie. Nasty habit. That's why I like it. I live a little differently than most people. That probably scared you. Prison is no place for a young lady. You got a big life ahead of you, I'm sure.
I'm just kind of average, I think.
You really think you're a normal person? I bet you have brilliant dreams. Eileen, may I confide in you? People are so ashamed of their desires. I have my own ideas.
Kind ideas.
You can never tell anyone, do you understand? Promise me.
Okay.
Okay, Annie, please hit me with some facts.
Eileen came out December 1st, 2023. It has an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was directed by William Oldroyd. That's a cool name. Written by Luke Goebel. Adapted from the book Eileen, written by Otessa Moshfegh. And here is the description from IMDb. A woman's friendship with a new coworker at the prison facility where she works takes a sinister turn. And I didn't mention this, but it's starring Anne Hathaway. She's back. And I forget the other girl's name.
Thomasin McKenzie. Anytime I hear the name Thomasin, I can't help but think of The Witch. Robert Eggers' The Witch, where Anya Taylor-Joy's name is Thomasin.
Yes.
God, what a far superior movie.
Okay, yeah. What do you think of this movie?
I'm not going to lie. I had high expectations just because I loved the premise. And it's a really great trailer. and of course Anne Hathaway. So I had high expectations, and but I didn't really know what to expect because I've never read the book. And obviously there's a huge twist here that and we'll get into it.
We will.
But I feel like it wasn't like led up to really properly. But it was like really dark. This was like an extremely upsetting movie.
Yeah.
And I really didn't expect that.
Yeah, that I didn't expect that either. And in a way that I didn't really appreciate, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this movie is basically about Thomasin McKenzie. She's playing who she always plays, which is just like, I'm a little girl over here in the corner, nobody look at me. Okay, that's my Thomasin McKenzie impression. And except now she has a Boston accent. And she's working at a prison and she's horny as fuck. This girl is so horny.
She's so horny.
And she lives with her dad, who's an abusive alcoholic shithead. And everyone tells her that she's nothing. She's nobody. Enter Anne Hathaway, who comes in and for some reason just like immediately attaches on to Thomasin McKenzie. That wasn't sold enough for me. And then they proceed to like get closer, despite, this is my biggest complaint, I feel like Thomasin McKenzie's character never speaks. Like people just speak to her and she never replies.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they start to get close. Thomasin McKenzie is like all horned up for Anne Hathaway, as anyone would. Like Anne Hathaway is whining and dining her. And then it's Christmas, and this has been a lot of the movie. Very slow. Then it's Christmas and Anne Hathaway's like, come on over. She goes over to Anne Hathaway's house. And Anne Hathaway lives in a kind of rundown home, and the fridge is full of rotted food, seemingly, and all her mugs are broken, and it's a mess. And they're talking for a while, and Anne Hathaway is seemingly trying to say to her, this takes place in the 50s, that, hey, I'm gay, and I think you're gay. That's where Thomasin McKenzie thinks the conversation is going. And the word, like, it is extremely leading. It's like hitting your head with, like, we're talking about how we're gay, but we're not really going to say it. But no, that's not what Anne Hathaway was talking about. She was talking about the body she had tied up in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like it was a mother of a child at the prison. Anne Hathaway is a prison psychologist, and the mother was like complicit and I don't know, of assistance to her husband, who was like sexually abusing their son. And she has her tied up. She wants her to confess. She wants Thomasin McKenzie as a witness. But she begs Thomasin McKenzie to not leave because she wanted to, which was the normal thing to do. I'm glad that they showed that, to help her get the truth out of her. And then it turns into like a torture scene, essentially. We hear the nasty truth, and then Thomasin McKenzie shoots her. And then they make a plan to escape. And Anne Hathaway like abandons her, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a cool ending, but then she from then on she like dropped the body somewhere in the woods and then hitchhiked onto a truck and went away into the city. Or into somewhere, actually. We don't even know. I was expecting her to be going into like New York City, like where they dreamed, but no, she was just like getting on the freeway. Okay. I feel like I had to go through the whole movie because it's wild. It's like two halves of a different movie. None of them really fit together. They're like stapled together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, tell me more. What did you think of this twist?
Well, I feel like we were supposed to believe a lot of things about these characters that we weren't really necessarily shown. Like we kept like the alcoholic dad played by Shea Wingham, who gave a great performance, by the way, he kept saying to Eileen, like, you're worthless, you're not smart, you're not pretty, you're not a good housekeeper, you're nothing like your mother, blah blah blah. We keep being told all of these things, but then we're not really shown them, because like she keeps showing up to work and like she, you know, is doing what she quote unquote is supposed to be doing. She keeps bringing him alcohol every single night, so we're not seeing this like idiot deadbeat that she's portrayed to be. And so I think that's why it was really surprising at the end to kind of see her fall victim to this crime, to Anne Hathaway's like pathological insanity. And, you know, it's like you're saying, like, she's super horny, and Anne Hathaway she was, like, giving her the eyes, basically, the whole movie, and kind of implying and leaning into, like, a homoeroticism, which that was fun, and that was fine. I really liked their relationship leading up to the twist. I thought it was really interesting, and I really liked... how the juxtaposition between these two women.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, so like we're supposed to believe all of these things about Eileen, and then we are also simultaneously not shown that Anne Hathaway is like a sociopath and she's like an insane person. We're not shown that until literally the very end. And it felt very much, and I've mentioned this term before, and because this is a novel, I think this really applies, but it felt so much like a pregnant snake. Like the story is going along, and then all of a sudden it's ballooned into this weirdo, what the fuck is going on? Like this is like two different pieces of media we're watching. Like it doesn't connect. But I will say, despite that, I really liked the ending. I really liked that Anne Hathaway didn't show up. And I liked that Eileen was kind of forced to reconcile with the decisions that she had made. And I mean, she like made... she made a choice that
made a huge mistake.
I think a lot of people would make. Yeah, I mean, she did. She made a huge mistake. But then I think, love. You know, like getting rid of the body, like, yeah. I don't know. But but I do want to mention also, like, there is so much like texture in this movie, and by texture I mean not like the treatment of the film itself. I mean just like there's so much grittiness of it that I think really lends itself to, like, if we were to watch this again, I think that the darkness of it might inform the twist. Like, for instance, we get several scenes or shots of Eileen pulling the trigger on people, namely herself and her father. That shit was a jump scare to me.
Yeah, it was.
And the other thing, too, is that it was so fucking bitter cold. It literally looked so miserable.
Yes.
It looked so just like
her waking up in her own sick also, you know?
Yes.
Bad vibes. Just the worst vibes.
The absolute worst vibes. It was gray. It was cold. It was snowing. Like, if I had to live through that kind of winter, I'd be homicidal too. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah. When she was like, doesn't everyone fantasize about killing their dad? And Anne Hathaway was like, what? That part was honestly made me laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say something. Oh my gosh. I forgot. It'll come back to me. Oh yeah, okay. I have a complaint about like what the twist was, because it wasn't like Anne Hathaway was like a serial killer this whole time and has been like collecting bodies in her first victim's house. Right. It was like she like came to do a normal task and things got like really carried away. And then things get carried away even further, basically. And so I don't know, that just wasn't. And the fact that like we find out we're in somebody else's house, that's huge. But then Anne Hathaway immediately explains it all. And it just felt like it wasn't as big of a deal as wading through how much movie we waited to get to this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's kind of like what I said, like we weren't given any indication that like she was capable of this sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess she did beat that guy up, but that was like, oh, because the guy sucks and she's just like a really strong woman, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't think of her as like, she's violent.
No. Yeah, me neither. You know, I went and saw this movie with a friend of mine, actually Jenny Reed, who was on the podcast last week, filmmaker Jenny Reed. And she had, number one, read the book, and also number two, she used to work in restorative justice in prisons. And so she had like a much different view and a much different connection with this movie than I did. And she basically said that the book was way better and that it, like, there was some really key moments that were big deals in the book that were kind of underplayed. Like when Anne Hathaway doesn't show back up to work, and she's like gone for the holidays. That was apparently like a huge deal in the book, and we feel like more devastated. But in the movie, we just kind of get Eileen like wandering into her office and just like, where are you?
Yeah, right. Maybe the whole movie was downplayed. Both of those films felt downplayed to me. That's why I said like put them together, and I got a whole movie.
I mean, this movie, it was just it was unexpectedly really dark, and I don't know that I loved it. I don't think it really worked for me. There were some things that did work for me, like Anne Hathaway, obviously she's amazing. The texture of it all, like how I was mentioning, like how it literally looks so fucking cold and miserable. And the performances, I think that Thomasin McKenzie and Shea Wingham both give great performances. And, you know, I like the setup here of like two women meeting in a prison that they both work at.
Mm-hmm. Are you ready to score it?
Yeah, it's going to be a 6 out of 10.
I'm going to give it a 5. Giving it an overall score of a 5.5 out of 10.
That tracks. Okay, thank you for listening. If you have a recommendation for next week's Spicy Double Feature, you can send us an email at moviemavenspodcast@gmail.com. That's it. Movie Mavens all the way out.